Welcome to the Nardi Realty podcast with Robert Nardi. Well, welcome back. Charlie McDermott, co-host, producer of the show, back in the Nardi Realty studio with Robert Nardi. Robert, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Charlie. I mean, this weather, you can't beat it. I mean, it's been beautiful. And did you hear we haven't had rain in a month? In February, there was no precipitation whatsoever. It's like a record. Yeah.
Now that you say that, yeah, that's a good point. Well, fine by me. Although I'm sure we can use the water, but it's and the humidity's down too. So even though it's warm out, it doesn't really feel that.
No,
hot.
not at all.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, sounds like great weather to get out there and look at real estate. What do you think?
Well, it is, and that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today was about, people are fascinated by real estate. No matter where I go, if they see my badge and it says, Robert Nardi, broker, owner, Nardi Realty, they always love to talk about real estate. And even some of those people talk about, I've been thinking about getting into the real estate career or having a career in real estate. What do you think? Can I pick your brain a little bit and find out what does it take to be successful in a career like this? So I thought maybe this would kind of be interesting for some of the people.
Yeah.
My journey a little bit I'll talk about, and then talk about what I feel like makes a good realtor and how you can eventually become successful over time. So
I absolutely love that. We're both entrepreneurs, and I think a lot of people sit on the sidelines because they don't either know what it takes or their view of what is needed is different than reality, right? So they're hesitant to jump into the game, as they say. So I love it. So where do we begin?
Well, I kind of wanted to begin here in Southwest Florida because what happened is about 21 years ago, I had decided to make a change from Minnesota to a warmer weather. My cousin lived down here, and I was in technology. I made my living in technology for over 11 years prior to coming down. And I came down here in Southwest Florida, and I just couldn't find the right fit for my technology experience here. I was a help desk manager for a major law firm in Cleveland, Ohio, and they had like 25 offices worldwide, and I ran the firm-wide help desk. And then even if I did find something that was close to what I wanted to do, the pay, I mean, unfortunately, because we don't pay state tax, and if you don't live in the city of Naples, you don't pay city tax. And so they kind of like the wages were lower, because we're in a smaller town here than say a major metropolis like Cleveland or New York City or Boston, so forth and so on. So then I thought, what else can I do? So I thought I sold 2 of my homes for sale by owner. This was in 2002. And I thought, maybe I should try the real estate market. So I came down here. I took time doing my classes. I passed the first time, and then I sought out a real estate company that I really wanted to learn the craft. And so I went with a very well-known real estate company down here, not so much down here, but throughout the United States. And they were mostly prevalent in the North that I felt comfortable with, and I wanted to learn it. They did training and so forth. So that's how it started. And, the hardest part is to get your first listing. But for those who are interested, I mean, I think that where can you go and open up we're all independent contractors, by the way, when you work for a real estate firm. You're not an employee of the firm. So where can you open up your own business if you buy yourself a laptop and get your licensing? I mean, it's pretty much that's your store, that's your investment in your career, is getting your education and a laptop. And paying for the internet access. I mean, other than that, and it gives you the potential of eventually making 6 figures in the real estate career. So it's a very minimal beginning that you can have. And then it's just, people say, what does it take? What does it take? Well, it takes, first of all, some people, I give you credit if you want to do this part-time. I mean, and you might be able to sell, if you do this part-time, you're going to sell your friend's house, you're going to sell your parents' house, you're going to sell your cousin's house. You're going to sell here and there, and it's going to bring you extra income. It just will, because it's all about your circle. And but to really kind of do it full time, that's how you become successful. I mean, you have to do it full time. You've got to live, breathe, and talk real estate. And we work 7 days a week. Now, grant you, it's really kind of on our own time, but you've got to make that commitment. And once you make that commitment, then I think you'll see some success in the beginning, and eventually it will snowball into greater success, and you will be successful in real estate. Someone asked me the other day, like, what are some of the characteristics that you think make a good realtor? I said two characteristics. One, you have to really enjoy and love working with people and truly enjoy them, because you're sometimes in a car. Years ago, I was in a car for 8 hours with these people, for 2 or 3 days. So I mean, clearly you had to enjoy the party that you were with, because that would drive you crazy. Now it's not so much. We spend about 3.5 4 hours in the car. We'll spend a lot on the phone and talking and texting and sending listings. So they narrow things down now much more than they used to years ago. But you got to love people. And the other thing is you have to have the patience of Job, because sometimes transactions can take a long time, and you just have to go with the flow, and you have to be understanding. Like, some people get very impatient. And if you're an impatient person, then this is not a career for you. Because I had one example. I had this couple. I sold them a little condo in the Vineyards, around 285,000. And then they kind of outgrew it within a year, and they're like, we were thinking we need another bedroom. So every year for 5 years, they would come down 3 times a year, and we go and look at homes, during those times. So then every time we go look for a home, they increased their pricing. Well, it's not exactly. Maybe if we increase it to this, maybe we'll find what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So believe it, after 5 years, they found Mr. Procacci, and Mr. Procacci had passed away, who was the owner of the Vineyards, which is a large development here, and he had passed away, and his house was for sale on this had a beautiful golf course view, and
Right.
they ended up buying it, and that was a $1.3 million sale. So all I'm saying is other realtors would have given up or said, you know what, I'm not going to waste my time. But these people were sincere. I really liked them, and
Yeah.
she wrote me the nicest letter that I ever got from a client, just saying, thank you for sticking with us. You were so patient and so kind, but we absolutely love our house. And every time someone comes into our house, we think that when they compliment it, we kind of think of you, because you led us to here. So
Right.
that's like a great reward. So you have to enjoy what you're doing, and
Yeah.
that's the most important thing. And people say, well, then how do I start out? How do I start out? Well, you got to get your license, and then you got to put your license with a broker. You can't be your own realtor on your own. You got to put your license under a broker. And there, you're looking. And how do I find the right broker? Well, you have to be comfortable with the broker. I'm a small broker. I have 19 associates, but I'm very hands-on, and I'm always available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for my associates. So that's really important to me, customer service and taking care of my associates. Now, there's other people that would like to work for a much more prestigious firm, because they're worldwide and so forth and so on, and they see these numbers and homes and everything, and that's fine too, if that's what but grant you, there are some mega million franchises out there that have so many people that you have a broker for almost the entire state of Florida. One, for all of the offices. Because you could broker more than one office, by the way.
Okay.
So you can broker more than one office. So they could have one realtor for all of Florida as a broker, and that's
Wow.
it. So how are you going to get to the broker? A lot of them say, send me an email and I'll get back to you in 24 hours, or send me a text and I'll get back to you in 5 hours, or send me, everybody that calls me, I pick it up. If I
Yeah.
see an associate, I pick it up, or I take the text and I do it. So, but I'm a smaller firm, and I had somebody who left me, who thought maybe that's what they wanted, was a bigger firm, and they came back to me within about a month, because they just didn't like the whole feel of a larger firm. So you have to feel comfortable. So my best advice is go interview multiple firms, multiple sizes, and decide what you want to do. Now, there's a lot of 100% firms out there, and people love that, because they pay one fee, a monthly fee, and then they pay a fee per transaction, and they feel like, okay, well, now I don't have to share the wealth really with the broker. But they have to realize that if they do that, a lot of these 100% firms do not give leads, that do not, share leads, do not produce leads for these people. So
Mm.
even though they're paying a minimal amount, like with my small firm, I give out leads. I've been selling for over 21 years. If I get busy, I just give out leads that people call me to all of my other people. So, I mean, I do try to get them to produce.
Yeah.
money. And like even I gave a $1.2 million lead to an associate just about 8 months ago, and he sold it. So that's the difference. So that's why
Yeah.
you have to interview, you have to feel comfortable, and it has to be a good fit for you. So those are some of the things that I would tell you. But also, once you become a realtor, you have to let everybody know. I mean, everybody. You've got to send it out in a Christmas card. You got to send it out over email and social media. You got to leave your cards everywhere. Even if you go out to dinner and you meet a waiter or a server, and you leave your tip and you put your card in there. I mean, you just leave it everywhere. Some people even leave them at gas stations. I don't know if I do that, but but top of the gas, the gas tanks or
Right,
the
right.
pumps. I mean, so but really, and once you do that, you're going to have business start coming your way. I also tell people to be successful, you've got to do something that you love as a pastime. So if you're a golfer, golf. You're going to have golfer buddies. If you play tennis, play tennis. If you're going to, play pickleball is very popular. I have probably some people that play pickleball. You meet other people. You let them know you're a realtor, and all of a sudden they'll say, "Hey, I got a house that I'm thinking about selling. Let's talk."
Mm,
So that is very important. And then you also can't be a hermit as a realtor. You can't just go home every night and have dinner at your home 7 nights a week, because you have to give yourself a few nights out, because that, go to dinner, grab a drink at happy hour, do something, because you have to socialize with people. Because the most important thing in real estate is you have to have that warm call, not that cold call. Once someone gets to know you, then all of a sudden it becomes a warm call, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden they're like, "Hey, I have my sister's thinking about coming down and looking for a piece of property. Maybe you should take her around." So I mean, that's the crux of it.
Mm,
But really, if you really put your heart and soul into real estate, your first year you might make, like I always tell people, make sure you have savings, because you might make $30,000. The second year you usually could make 60,000. By the third year you might be making 120 to 150,000. I mean, if
yeah.
you're really devoted and really put all of your heart and soul into it. So it could be a lucrative career, but
Yeah.
also it gives you a satisfaction of knowing, when I come into real estate and I come into a house and I feel like it's the perfect house, and they buy it and they feel so good about it. I mean, there is a satisfaction in your heart. I mean, yeah, you make money too, but it's you found the right house for the right person, and that's the most exciting part about my career, is making people happy in their choices, because they're spending a lot of money,
Yeah.
and I there's different approaches in selling. I used to study different approaches, but really my best approach is to be honest with every client that you bring into a house that you're working with. Just be honest. When I go into a house, I say, "Wow, the ceilings are great. This is great. But did you open up the lanai doors? I mean, there's a lot of noise out there. But some people love it. Like I
Yeah.
get a lot of East Coast people, like New Yorkers,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, New Jersey. They love the noise. They're like, "I love it. It keeps me company. I love hearing it. Reminds me of home." So, but I like to be honest about
Yeah.
everything that I do, and have integrity. And if you're honest and you're sincere, your success will come.
Yeah. You made the comment a few moments ago about the potential for earnings 30,000 year one, year two, year three,
Right.
maybe six figures. Which, hey, as you well know, it all depends on the effort you put in, and like you said, how out there you are. But it's interesting when you think about opening your own business, the investment you need to make, both capital, the risk you're taking, if it's signing a 5-year lease or whatever it is, the payroll, everything else. I mean, you're lucky if you're getting a salary in year three that's enough to pay your electric bill in some
Right,
case.
right, right.
So it may not sound like much in year one, but compared to opening your own business and taking on all that risk, you are, but in a way that has a lot less risk and an awesome upside. The other part is you made the point, and I never thought about that. Hey, you get your realtor's license, um, and then you find a brokerage and you get going. But it's important to really get to know the broker. It sounds like, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what they have to offer, if they offer you leads, what's their percentage, if they have a percentage, those kinds of questions are important, because once
Yeah.
you're there. And then, I mean, you can certainly move your license easily. That's the one thing too about jumping ship. I mean, people maybe don't quite grasp this, but if someone put their license with me and then didn't want to be with me anymore within 2 weeks or a year or 2 years or whatever, they just go to another broker, and the broker just basically grabs the license and puts it with their firm. So
Yeah.
years ago, they never let you know that when someone left you. So you just happen to find out they left you. Generally, they would tell you, but sometimes, who knows? Maybe they want to just get out in the middle of the night for some reason. So, but
Right.
now the division of business does let you know that this person is no longer with your firm. They used to never do that, and that just started this year. I mean, after 20 years, I've been in the business.
Yeah,
So
that is surprising.
yeah. So, but because we're an independent, because you're considered an independent contractor, you have that ability to do that. And I mean, we still have to sign contracts with our independent contractors, and I make sure that they follow. I'm very much sure that they've adhered to all the rules of FREC, and then also, as realtors, we take ethics very seriously. I mean, that's what we pledge. We pledge to follow the ethics of a good salesperson, and so that's always important to me as well.
Oh, terrific. Well, this is going to be very, very helpful, Robert. And for our listeners who maybe have further questions or considering, getting involved as a real estate agent, best way for them to get in touch.
Yeah, just either you could send an email to robert@nardirealty.com. So that's my name, robert@nardirealty.com. Or they could just call me at 239-293-3592. That's 239-293-3592.
Well, terrific. Well, hey, you still have a couple hours of gorgeous daylight out there. I will let you go, and maybe get on a pickleball court, or just go out for a nice walk.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think I'm going to walk. Actually, it's so beautiful outside. So.
Yeah. Well, enjoy, Robert. We'll see you in the next episode.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Charlie. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Nardi Realty podcast with Robert Nardi. To learn more about Nardi Realty, go to www.buynaples.net. That's buy, B-U-Y, Naples, Naples.net, or call 239-293-3592.